All right, we've got another geometry lesson here, and some of this will be review and some of it will be brought up for the first time. We're going to find areas of different geometric shapes. Like I said, some of these we've done before. All right, first of all, area for a rectangle. Area is length times width. Typically, in algebra books, it is usually called base times height. Either one is fine. Area of a square. Now you can use this same formula. You can still use base times height. But because both the base and the height are the same number, it can be side squared. And we've done those before, early in the course. Triangle. We've done this one. You can use, it is 1/2 base times height. You could use 0.5 times base times height, or you could use base times height divided by 2. We had that earlier. A parallelogram. Now, a rectangle is a parallelogram, a square is a parallelogram. It means that the left and right sides are parallel, the top and the bottom are parallel. The area formula for a parallelogram is the same as it is for a rectangle. It is base times height. The difference is the height is not one of the sides like it is in a rectangle. It is the distance between the top and the bottom. All right, something that's new in this lesson is the area of a trapezoid. And I'm going to write it a little differently than they did. A trapezoid is a four-sided figure. The thing that's different about a trapezoid, the top and the bottom will be parallel, but the two sides are not parallel. The height will be the distance between the top and the bottom, and this is the top and the bottom are different. One of them I'll call the little base and one of them the big base. Now, if you use the little base, you get too small of an area. If you use the big base, you get too big of an area. So what you do is you end up averaging the two. You don't really feel like you're averaging, but you are. Area is, you're going to add little base and big base. You're going to divide it by 2. That's where the average is. But actually, you're going to multiply by the height before you do that. This is the version that a lot of people like. They also like 0.5 times little base plus big base times the height. But part of the formula is actually averaging the bases. Okay? Now, the last one that we're going to look at relates back to circles. But this is the area of a circle, not the circumference. So when I talk about the area of a circle, I'm talking about what it would take to cover it up, not the distance around it. When you're finding the area of a circle, there are not two formulas. There's only one. And you must know the radius. If you don't have the radius, you're going to have to chop that diameter in half to find it. You must have the radius. There will be at least one question at the end where we will take an irregular shape and cut it into two familiar shapes, find their areas and combine them. A little hint or a little reminder, area is always measured in square units. All right, let's use all these formulas to find the areas of some problems. All right, number 1, find the area of the geometric shape. You look over there, it is labeled as a rectangle. This is what I'd like you to do. Start out with the formula for the geometric shape. Area is base times height. You could say length times width. Then fill in those values. The base, I'm going to say, is 12.4 meters. The height is 8.8 meters. Perform the arithmetic. This is where your calculator comes in handy. 12.4 times 8.8, and I get 109.12. Meters times meters is square meters. You could have it meters to the second power. Either one of those would be fine. And it is how many little square meters it would take to cover that up. All right, let's look at another one. Whoops, not that far. All right, another rectangle. Area is base times height. So it is 14.4 meters times 14.2 meters. You're going to multiply those. Calculator, 14.4 times 14.2. I get 204.48. Once again, it is square meters. All right. Number 3. Whoops. Sometimes I try to get some workspace and that doesn't work. All right, a triangle. Area is, all right, you've got several choices. I think I'll use base times height divided by 2 because it's half of a rectangle or a parallelogram. So the area is, I'm going to call the base 18 yards. Because this is a right triangle, the height is the other dimension, 8 yards. And I'm going to multiply those, but I can't forget to divide it by 2. So for the numerator, I have 18 times 8, which gives me 144. It's still over 2. It is square yards. I could have done this all at once, but I haven't. And divide that by 2, and I get the area is 72 square yards. Yards times yards gives me square yards. Number 4 also uses base times height over 2, but I'm not going to work through that example problem. So let's look at number 5. Find the area of the geometric shape. Oh, and it asked me to do 2 things. Exact area and then approximation. Okay, I'm kind of used to doing that, but it is a new kind of problem. Area, you must know the radius. If the diameter is 4, then the radius will be 4 inches divided by 2. I know you can do that in your head. It's 2 inches. You have to know that because the formula for the area of a circle, and I may not have even pointed to this, I don't think I did, it is pi r squared, which the area is pi times radius again. Radius squared is not 2 times the radius, it's the radius times itself. So, for exact, area is pi r squared. Area is pi times, the radius is 2 inches, times that again, which is 2 inches. The area is, 2 times 2 is 4. Put down the pi, square inches. 4 pi. So the r squared became the number. Now I'll do the approximation. I pretty much start over. I have area is pi r squared. Area is approximately 3.14 times radius squared means 2 inches times 2 inches. So the area is approximately 3.14 times 2 times 2. It is approximately 12.56 square inches. Okay. Let's do another one of those. All right, same thing. I have to find exact area and I have to find approximate area. What am I given? Well, again, I'm given the diameter. I need the radius. The radius is 9 inches divided by 2. The radius is 4.5 inches. Exact. Area is pi r squared. Area is pi. The radius is 4.5 inches times another 4.5 inches, because remember, it is radius squared. So area is pi times, let's see, 4.5 times 4.5 is 20.25, and it is now in square inches. I would write my answer as 20.25 pi square inches, because we put the number in front of pi. That's exact. Now let's look at approximate. Area is pi r squared. And I hope you're making yourself a nice list or some note cards of all of your formulas. Area is approximately 3.14 times 4.5 inches times 4.5 inches. So with my calculator, I will multiply those. And I get that the area is approximately, I got 63.585 inches times inches gives me square inches. Okay? Area of a circle as opposed to circumference. All right, what is number 7? Number 7, this is a parallelogram. Area is base times height for a parallelogram. Area is, the base is 3 feet. The height is 2.25 feet. Calculator. Area is 6.75 feet times feet gives me square feet. Now, when you do this in your math lab, you're going to put in the 6.75 here. This is going to be a pull-down menu, and it will have different choices for units. And you'll need to pick the one that says square feet. So you will have two things to do. You'll type in the numerical value as well as pick the units. All right, number 8 is just like that. So now let's go, I'm going to skip it. Let's go to number 9, which is a trapezoid. We've not done a trapezoid before. The formula, there are a couple of versions. I like little base plus big base times the height, and then divide that by 2. Area is, all right, the little base is 13 meters plus the big base is 17 meters. Close those parentheses. The height is 12 meters, and I'm going to divide that by 2. Now we're back to order of operations. What do I do first? Well, I do what's in parentheses first. So I have 13 plus 17 is 30 meters, and I'm going to multiply it by 12 meters. And whatever I get, I'm going to divide by 2. So I'm trying to show all my steps. I have 30 times 12 gives me 360, and meters times meters gives me square meters. And it is over 2. Don't forget to divide by 2. So it is 180 square meters. You might be able to do this in fewer steps, but I want you to start with the formula, plug in the numbers, and then you might not have to write down every one of those steps, but I wanted to in the notes. All right, let's take a look at number 10. Since we've not done trapezoids before, it won't hurt to do another one. All right, the area is little base plus big base times the height divided by 2. So that would be 6 meters plus 10 meters times 5 meters divided by 2. All right. Do what's in parentheses first. 6 meters plus 10 meters gives me 16 meters times 5 meters divided by 2. 16 times 5, that's 80. That will then be meters times meters, which is square meters, divided by 2, which is 40 square meters. Okay, so the area of that trapezoid is 40 square meters. One last problem. There is not a formula for this shape, so you're going to need to chop this into 2 pieces. Now, you could either cut it this way or you can cut it this way. It's totally up to you. It makes no difference. So I think I'll just cut it this way. All right, let's look at this one first. I'm going to call this A, and I'll call this one B. All right, let's look at rectangle A. The formula, area is base times height. The base is 6 miles. The height is 11 miles. And that gives me 66 square miles. That is for the area of rectangle A. Well, let's look at rectangle B. It's still area is base times height. Now you have to be very careful when you start cutting geometric shapes, because the base of 18 miles is not the base of B. We don't even have a number for that length on B, but we have enough information to find it. If this entire distance is 18 and this much of it is 6, then how are we going to figure out this piece? Well, it should be the difference between those. So this piece is going to be 18 minus 6, which is 12 miles. So when you are looking for a horizontal piece, you look at the other horizontal pieces and remember that the sum of the parts makes up the whole thing. So the area is, the length of the base is 12 miles. The height is 4 miles, which gives me 48 square miles. Now, the total area is A plus B. It is 66 square miles plus 48 square miles, which gives me 114 square miles. Okay, so we break an unfamiliar shape into some familiar parts, in this case 2 rectangles. Okay, make a list of all your geometric formulas and remember to write down the formula for the shape that you're about to work on. And these all had to do with areas.